No, we're not. Why we're not? No, we're not. Why am I not fucking live? Am I alive? Am I alive? Am I alive? Am I alive? Come on. Are we good? I think we're live. Finally, my goodness me, this platform is absolutely doing my head in. I have no idea why. It just would not let me go live, which explains why I'm 4 minutes late. Supposed to go live at 25 past, and yeah, we're here now, so that's all that matters. It's Manchester United versus Leeds battle at Ellen Road today, with some key players missing for Manchester United. Leeds United hitting some good form, probably the most 50-50 game you will ever see for a long, long time. I know Leeds are a promoted team and they've just come up, but when you look at the form, you look at the teams that they've played recently, and when you look at United and you look at how we've played recently, you'll understand that it is a very even game, this, especially with it being at Ellen Road. You can imagine it's going to be a bit of an uphill battle. Now, make your judgments based on the team. I'll just pop it on the screen now for you, and we'll go through it together. This is how I think he's gone for, or how I think the team's going to be laid out. Again, if anyone kind of disagrees with that, do let me know. But there's quite a few defenders on the pitch, which I'm already seeing kind of the online feed and on Twitter and stuff that people are unhappy with. But Le Mans is in net. You've got, I think it's going to be Dallo, Yoro, Heaven, and Shaw as the back four. But obviously, this is going to be flexible, and that's going to change to a back five at times, in and out of possession. But I think he's going to go a bit more attacking, hopefully. I'm not going to hold my breath, but that's the way I think it's going to go. Maybe Lisandro Martinez is in midfield, but then can step back into that central centre-back role when he's in there. Shaw at left back, I think. You've got Ugarte and Casemiro a little bit more as the more advanced eights, who, again, when you're looking at creativity and reliability, they're you guys who are going to have to be creating the chances. Cunha coming off the left, Dorgu on the right, which is where we thought he would play after the Newcastle game, which I actually thought was really bad man management from Ruben Amorim. I thought when a player plays that well, why on earth, especially against Wolves at home, why on earth would you put him back at left wing back? That made no sense to me whatsoever. So hopefully he is on the right wing. I'm sure we'll find out more details as the manager comes out and does his interview before the match. But I'm guessing it's going to be Dorgu on the right, Sesko up top, and Cunha, because let's be honest, you can't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 defenders on the pitch and Casemiro and you're basically playing like a back seven or whatever it is. So fingers crossed, it is even if it is a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, whatever you want to call it, it's still, you've got a lot of defensive players on the pitch, so creativity might be a bit of an issue today for us, which is obvious anyway, because as Amorim touched on in his press conference, he's spoken about the 3 players that are out are the most creative players. So Ahmad, Mbumo, and Bruno Fernandes statistically are the ones that, create the most chances for us. And with them missing, obviously that's going to die down a little bit. But then I feel like if you're going to spend 70 million on a striker and 60 million on Matheus Cunha and players like that, 50 million on Ugarte, it's not really an excuse for me. I thought it was a bit of a cop-out, what he said about the Wolves game. Oh, well, we're missing Ahmad, we're missing Mbumo, and we're missing Thingy, which they obviously are key players, right? But you're playing a Wolves team who, and I put this out on our Twitter, you're playing a Wolves team who have 1/10 of your budget. Do you know what I'm saying? They don't have anywhere close. They'd kill for a Ugarte in their team or a Casemiro or a Matheus Cunha. Well, they did have Matheus Cunha, but they sold them to us. And look how they're doing now. So that was never an excuse for me. If you're losing at Old Trafford and being outplayed by the worst team in the Premier League and one of the worst Premier League teams we've ever seen for a long, long time, I don't know what to tell you, mate. I really don't know what to tell you. So, yeah, I'm just trying to get the bench up. We've got Bayende, Fredrickson, Malacia, Kakonke, Mantato, Jack Fletcher, Tyler Fletcher, Shea Lacey, and Joshua Xerxes. And with all due respect to the academy players, this is not a dig at them. That is one of the weakest benches I've seen for a long, long time. And if anyone gets injured or we need to rotate and bring on some fresh legs, it's going to be a struggle, because I felt like the academy boys did struggle slightly a little bit with that. But, look, I'm always open to opportunities and second chances and all that kind of stuff because they are young kids. So you don't want to put too much pressure on them. But the bench isn't looking good at all. If I can just change this layout here because I don't like. Can I do that? Maybe that. Will that do it? No, not having that. Right, I'll just leave it on this for now. So yeah, that's the team that we're going with. Listen, Le Mans, I feel like if he wasn't in goal and it was Bayern Deer between the sticks against Wolves, I feel like we would have lost that game. But Le Mans made some really, really good saves. And it was weird because prior to the game, in this similar pre-match build-up kind of setup, I was saying I think he's being overhyped a little bit. We need to be careful. He's only young and blah blah blah. And he shook me up. Made some, a really good double save. I think in the second half, made a good reflex save in the first half as well. So it's really nice, and it just goes to show if you get your investment right, you'll get a good return. And Le Mans is doing that in a minute. So happy he's going to continue in goal. He's definitely, our number one, solidified that spot, no doubt about it. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Yoro and Heaven at the back for me. I haven't seen Leeds' team actually, so before I give any kind of analysis or the way the game's going to go, I'm expecting Calvert-Lewin to start, but I don't actually know if he started or not. So let me double check that, and we shall see. They're going to surely. I feel like they rested players against Leeds to play against us. So yeah, they've got Perry in net, Justin, Goodmanson, Bornau, Bijol, Stroik, Gruev, Stack, Aronson, Okafor, and Calvert-Lewin. So Okafor and Calvert-Lewin, if you've watched enough of Leeds this season, which, I don't always like watching the likes of Leeds or City or Liverpool, but if you're doing analysis and you're doing this, what we're doing now on YouTube, you've got to know about the teams, how they play, what they're good at, what they're bad at. For whenever I've watched Leeds, especially when they're at Ellen Road, they make it a fight and they make it dogged and they make it rough. And with players like Okafor and Calvert-Lewin, proper physical brutes who are going to cause problems, I think they are going to cause Heaven and Yoro some big, big problems today. And this is going to be a learning curve for him because as a centre-back, you get many different challenges, right? If you go into the top end, for example, if you're playing against a Sergio Aguero, or you're playing against a Wayne Rooney, or you're playing against a Didier Drogba, you're going to face multiple different challenges in different ways, right? Sergio Aguero is that kind of, you could just get under your shoulder and get in behind and make those kind of line-breaking runs, but can also take it to feet, and he's really strong holding it up. Obviously, Rooney would drop at times. He would drift out wide. He'd be all over the pitch. Someone like Drogba, who you could play it into more physical brute. Like, centre-backs will get different challenges and they'll have learning curves. Calvert-Lewin will cause Euro and Heaven problems. I'm telling you right now, 100%. And then the midfield is robust. It's industrious. They've got Stack and Gruev in there. Obviously, no Ethan Ampadu because Ethan Ampadu, I think, is suspended for this game, which is good because if you've watched Leeds, Ethan Ampadu makes them tick. He's there, in my opinion, he's their best player. I know people will gravitate towards Calvert-Lewin because of his goal-scoring record and stuff, but Ampadu is their best player, so him being out is decent. And they've got a couple of interesting subs on the bench. Tanaka, I think, looks really bright when he plays. Obviously, Longstaff, you know him from Newcastle. Nonto, and Felix Mecca as well is could be a bit of a problem. So they've got good players, man. They want to run for a reason. I'll get into Leeds a little bit more later on, but yeah, they're going to be dangerous today. I can guarantee that, and it's going to be goals in both ends with that centre back partnership. The heavy reliance on us is, and what seems to be, again, depending on what system he's kind of going with, if you've got Shaw and Dallo as your wing backs or you just full backs, I want more from them today. Shaw putting more crosses into the box for Sesko. You think about the goal that Casemiro scored in the Carabao Cup final, that kind of area on the pitch, where he is there, maybe a little bit more forward and central, crossing in from those positions and providing Sesko and Casemiro as well. I feel like set pieces might be quite big today because, yeah, Sesko, Casemiro, really good in the air. Yoro's not bad either, and Heaven's obviously a big lad. So set pieces will be huge for us. And obviously, I don't know if it's still true, but we scored the most or joint most set pieces in the league. So that's going to be huge. My issue is Ugarte and Casemiro in the middle of the park because Ugarte is limited. So Casemiro on the ball, really good. First time passes, can break lines at times, can do those lofted ones. Like he has some of it in his locker. But Ugarte, I almost feel like you just have to let him have the ball. Just let him have the ball. He's never a threat. You don't have to mark it. And if you give him, you don't have to mark him, sorry. And if you give him enough time, he'll probably end up fucking up. So that's, I think, is a really weak spot in that midfield. And Casemiro's got to take the onus there, especially if he's more of an advanced 8 and Leach is going to sit and protect, I'd imagine. So that's where I worry in this game. If Dorgu's back on the right, fantastic. Thought he was great against Newcastle. Nothing much more needs to be said about that. Scored a great goal there. Everything around this game, that was almost like the coming of Patrick Dorgu, because I thought that was the perfect time for Amorim to keep in that position against Wolves, get that confidence going again, get another goal, get another assist, and keep him in that kind of rich vein of form. And then he took him out and put him back at left wing back, where he's not been playing great. And for the life of me, especially given how limited we are with players, that made absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. No, I thought it was really bad management from Ruben Amorim. So hopefully he's there again. And likewise, the two up top, they're the ones, regardless of who's not available, we've still spent a lot of money. Sesko was 70 million quid. Cunha was 60 million quid. Obviously, Cunha, more expectation on his shoulders, given, his experience in the Premier League. He's climatized to the Prem a lot more than Benjamin Sesko has. This is his first season in English football. So there's more weight and expectation on someone like Cunha to deliver when Bruno, Ahmad, and Mbeumo are out. And I'm not quite sure if Cunha's doing that at the minute. I'm really not. So he needs to step his game up, but we need to start putting points on the board. Chivi said it perfectly yesterday. We are, I think, between 13th and 5th place. So between Tottenham and Chelsea, there is a 4-point gap. 4-point gap. We play Leeds, which most people would say on paper, which is why on paper is utter bollocks, but on paper, you should be beating that team. And on paper, you should be beating Burnley. But given the form that United are in at the minute, we're dropping points to those exact kind of teams. We've dropped points to Bournemouth, who are in 15th. We've dropped points to Forest, who are in 17th. We've dropped points to West Ham, who are going to get relegated probably. All these teams that are near the relegation, we dropped points to, and Wolves we just dropped points to at Old Trafford. So the likelihood is, and given the form and given the way it goes, you're probably going to drop points today, get a draw against Leeds. You might scrape a win against Burnley, but then you're playing Arsenal and Manchester City. And again, you never know with this club. You really don't, because sometimes United could just pull it out of the bag. But given the form that I watched Arsenal against Bournemouth yesterday, and they are killers at the minute. Declan Rice is an unbelievable player. The depth they've got. I mean, they went to the subs bench yesterday and they brought on Saka, Trossard, Gabriel Jesus, and Eze didn't even get on the pitch. Do you know what I'm saying? Eze would start for us right now. So the depth they've got is insane. Man City are still winning games as well. I know they drew against Sunderland, but Ryan Cherky and Foden are cooking at the minute. Like, they're difficult games. That's 6 points that you're probably going to lose out on. And then you're right back into 11th, 12th, and people are talking again. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's really, really important that you win these kind of games. And again, it feels like deja vu. Because like afterwards, we're saying, oh, it's another opportunity missed and blah, blah, blah. And all these teams around us that are playing other teams who have dropped points and we didn't capitalize. And yeah, it's happening again and again and again and again. So I'm expecting this game to be really, really tough. I think Leeds are going to be on our neck from minute one. They're going to try and get the crowd up behind them. Very important that you keep them quiet. Don't let them smell any weakness, because they'll be like bloodhounds. Obviously, for people who are probably even my age, don't really remember the Leeds rivalry in kind of the early 90s. I was born in 95, so obviously I wasn't about for it. But there was a real kind of fierce rivalry. Obviously, everything to do with Eric Cantona as well, buying him from Leeds and all that kind of stuff. There's a rivalry there. So this is one of the biggest games of the season for them. And traditionally, when we've played them recently in the past, especially under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we used to spank them every single time. We don't have a Scott McTominay today, who usually, he'd score a couple. I think Pogba in one of the games got like 4 assists, something ridiculous. Bruno Fernandes would always get numbers against these. Traditionally, historically, in all the head-to-heads, we would do better and we would beat them. But it's a very different time at the minute. and we're not doing great against teams near the bottom of the table, and they are in good form. So like I said at the start of it, this is going to be, in my opinion, very, very 50-50. I think both teams are going to score. Probably going to be a case of outscoring, a 3-2 or a 4-3 or whatever. So yeah, Amorim's got a bit of a hill to climb here, especially given, I think when you look at the press conference last night, I don't know if anyone saw the embargoed section, but there was a bit of spice in there, let's just say. Usually, if you watch a press conference with United, it will be, I'm trying to remember, like Ian Irvin for the Premier League will ask questions, Carl Anker for the Athletic will ask questions, Samuel Luckhurst, who now works for the Sun, obviously was Manchester Evening News, works for the Sun, Stephen Railston sometimes asks academy questions, and you've got a couple of other journalists, but there is one journalist who always tries to get that bite and always asks a bit of a dicey question and just tries to get Amorim to bite a little bit. And it's always Jamie Jackson. And Jamie Jackson asked Ruben Amorim, he said, you're starting to understand that to play your 3-4-3, you, in essence, need to have a lot of top players, and it sounds like that's not possible. Can I ask why you didn't realize that when you first came into the club, or can you clarify what you mean? Which it is a bit of a bitey question, but I think it's a fair question. I think, yeah, I don't mind that at all. You're trying to get to the depth of why it's taking him to change so long, and it's it's kind of what a lot of fans have been saying. And Amorim replied, which usually Amorim is so open and honest in presses. He replied saying, "I do not want to talk about that. I just focus on the Leeds game." Very blunt, very Ten Hag-esque kind of style. Short and simple. And then so Jamie Jackson replied saying, "That's interesting. It's not like you to want to talk about it." Amorim just said, "Yeah." And Jackson said, "Do you regret saying it, maybe?" He says, No, but I don't want to talk." So he said, "I'll try one more time. Looking at those comments, it's a little bit mystifying why you would say that a year in, you've only just realised. Has something changed with regards to the budget or what you've been told? Did Jason Wilcox maybe speak to you?" And he says, "I do not want to talk about that, but you are very smart." And that was kind of it. So obviously, from the reports that we're hearing, from Amorim's body language, from bits and bobs that we've seen, there's some kind of friction going on behind the clothes. And what kind of baffles me is if you're bringing a guy in who is so adamant on a system and is so strict on that system and saying, this is the way I want to play and this is the philosophy that I believe in, you can't start moaning about him sticking to his principles and sticking to his system. Now, the system might not work inevitably. You might have to bring a new manager in, but you brought him in for that specific system. And I don't know the conversations behind closed doors. I don't know what was said. But if Amorim's turned around and said, I'm going to need specific players for the system and it's going to take time, and when I get my certain wing backs in and midfielders, etc., then you will really see truly what kind of the way I want to play. But obviously, Vavell and Wilcox have stepped in and says, listen, it's not working at the minute. There needs to be some form of tactical evolution. There was, I think, conversations made, which we discussed on a show yesterday. There was conversations made around on how the managers are just picking out simple flaws in the system, like Marco Silva with Fulham, how they would drop Iwobi into the midfield and just outnumber him and then capitalize on that. And there was a lot of teams who were doing that at the time. So there was questions about a certain tactical evolution. And we did change it up. And, as soon as he did, against Aston Villa, we was the better team. Even though they beat us, we was by far the better team and was creating loads of chances. Against Newcastle, we beat them, kept a clean sheet at Old Trafford. First half was really, really good. But then that's why everyone was so confused. It's like, why have you gone back to a back five? It's almost stubbornness or egotistical. I don't know what it is. But why the fuck have you gone back on that and played a back five against? But it made no sense whatsoever. And this is what I'm saying. Like Chivy says it, Sam says it, Shreya says it. This is self-sabotage from the manager. The subs that he brings on, the decisions that he makes. He is a young manager, and it's like he makes young manager decisions. Do you know what I'm saying? So he doesn't help himself at all. Let's get into the comments. Sam's puts a quote in from Manuel Ugarte. Says, everyone knows what it means. This game versus Leeds, it's the same as playing against Liverpool, Man City. We have to focus on this game altogether, compact and control the game. I think we can score more goals. We can create more chances. Not if you're on the pitch, Manuel. The focus is on this game and altogether. Every player has different characteristics, so we have to adapt to that. We want to control the game without the ball, with the ball, create chances, and of course, win the game. Andy in the chat saying, I'm not sure I can stomach a loss to Leeds. Again, Kangan in the chat saying Ugarte again, but it's just simply because there's no one else. It is quite literally no one else. Amarin's probably saying the same, saying I really don't want to play in there, but who else you going to play? Fletcher in there? Not for me. With that interview last night, if we lose, God knows what happens next, just like Ineos. Yeah, I do think the cracks are starting to show at the minute. We haven't seen it since he's come in. There has been consistent long-term backing. I mean, fucking hell. So Ratcliffe literally came out and said he can have 3 years, 3 seasons. This is going to be a process. This is going to take time. But I feel like in the last week or so, you are starting to see some minor cracks show, and that sounds so dodgy. But you know what I'm saying, innit? There's something there. There's tension there for sure. And I'm sure there's loads of conversations. I'm sure maybe Ruben Amorim was expecting some form of backing in January. Maybe he was expecting an Antoine Semenyo to come in who looks like he's going to go to Manchester City. Maybe he was going to push for Carlos Baliba, and they're not going to do that till the summer now. Maybe that is something that's flipped a switch and caused a bit of a ruckus, as one would say. But it's definitely friction there. Today, Calvert-Lewin will feel like he is prime Ibra. Yeah, I think he's going to have a big game today. Andy's saying, with that interview last... Oh, sorry, I already read that out. Zero creativity in this team. Rayanator, big up Rayanator every day of the week, saying, can't believe he's done a back five again. I don't think it is a back five. But, yeah. What a stubborn twat. Leeds have been exceptional at home, and we have no creativity. It's going to be a thumping. Amarin got asked why he picked Euro instead of Xerxes. He says it was just thinking about what we're going to face today, trying to make the team comfortable to win the game. If you see the game versus Wolves, we have more than enough opportunities to win the game. We had some chances, but of course, when you lose so many creative players, you're going to have problems. Everyone in the club talks about that rivalry, but I need to focus on what I can change and what I can help the players inside the pitch and outside the pitch. I don't get his arrogance. He loses more than he wins, hardly adapts and reverts straight back regardless, and he knows the team better than anyone else. Having a laugh he is. Look, it's a huge game. Huge game for Amarin today. You've got to win these kind of games. I think the fans, I mean, maybe, I don't know if the board's turning on him. I don't know about any of that because we don't have the luxury of being a fly on the wall. But I'll tell you now, the fans will start turning against him if you're losing games like this. You can't drop points against Wolves and then lose to Leeds. As Gary Neville would say, as any pundit would say, as any ex-football player, manager, this is Man United. You can't lose those kind of games. And his record as a whole, in total, he's just breaking every record that you don't want to see. I mean, I need to get his stats up because I saw it the other day. It was like 14 wins or something. Let's get it up. It's shocking. Absolutely shocking. When was this? 22 hours ago. 46 Premier League games under Ruben Amorim. Won 15, drawn 12, lost 19. That is fucking awful. Won 15, drawn 12, lost 19. That is a sackable record. It really, really is. So, I don't know. You've got to see improvement. Naturally, the attack's going to improve when you spend 200 million quid on it. But I mean, even from a defensive standpoint, Man United at the minute, I'm pretty sure we've conceded 30 plus goals already. I think it is. Let's have a look. I don't want squad statistics. I wonder how many goals we conceded. I get it up on Sofa score. I'm pretty sure we scored 30 plus, but we've conceded 30 plus as well. You think 4 conceded to fucking Bournemouth, and 3 conceded to, who was it now? Oh, who did we beat 4-3? Brighton. 3 conceded to Brighton. Like, it's just not good enough at all. Goals scored 33. Goals conceded 29. That's where we're at in a minute. You've got to shut up shop. You've got to keep it more tight at the back. Otherwise, you're never going to get European football, and that's the aim, right? And that's what's. I mean, Simon Stone put something interesting. I'll put something out last night, I think it was, that I found really interesting. So he put. Let me find it. Did I put it in? Should I put it in? Did I not? I don't know where it's gone. Basically, what it said was the ambition for Amorim and the money that's been spent has always been about qualifying for European football. And if Ruben Amorim does that, he'll get more time. However, if he doesn't, then a managerial change might be considered. As we stand here right now, and I'm sure you guys feel the same, it doesn't seem like United's going to get Champions League football. I don't even think they get Europa League football. I think on average, we just take the Premier League table in a minute. If we repeat what we've done in the first half of the season, we will finish on around probably about 57 points, right? That's kind of the league average if we continue what we're doing. Last season, fourth place, Chelsea got 69 points. Newcastle got 66 points. That's 10 points off. I know it's a different kind of Premier League season, but this is just on average. The season before that, Aston Villa got 68 points. Tottenham got 66 points. The season before that, 65 points. Do you know what I mean? So that's the average that gets top 4, top 5. We're 56, 57. And I imagine we've probably got a tougher half of the season coming up because we've had supposedly what's supposed to be easy games. The second half of the season, we've got, obviously, we play Leeds, Burnley, but then we've still got City, Arsenal, Tottenham, Everton away, Newcastle away, Villa, Chelsea away, Liverpool at home, and then Brighton away as well. Some really, really tough games coming up. For me, you're not getting European football. You're not getting European football. So unless you start winning games now, start winning games right now, and we can have a conversation. For anyone just joining us, Leeds United, no Ethan Ampadu in the middle of the park, which is fantastic. But Calvert-Lewin does start up top. Great form at the minute. I think you've got a couple of players who come off the bench to cause problems. I like that Tanaka. I think he's a good player for them. They are 6 games unbeaten since they said the manager was going to get sacked. So Daniel Farke was under a lot of pressure at Leeds. And then they've just gone on this run where they've been unbeaten effectively. You've got, I think they took points off Liverpool twice. So they drew against them twice. They beat Chelsea. They give City a really good game. And they've been unbeaten. So tricky game for us tonight, this morning, afternoon, whatever time it is. It's 12:01, so technically it's afternoon, but this is going to be a difficult game. I'll get into the 4 things I expect to happen in this game, so predictions in a minute. So get all yours in before I dive into that. I'm just going to see if there's any more quotes coming out from Ruben Amorim or any of the players pre-match. I've read most of them out, but we'll see. So Euro coming in for Xerxes, we've already spoken about that. Apparently Dorgu's operating on the right of a front 3 in the warm-up, which is nice to see. Told you it's not a back 5. Told you. Heaven, Lisandro, Shaw, and Dallo. Wait, Heaven, Leacher, Shaw, Dallo, Euro are the only players wearing bibs ahead of kickoff. But then the same Dorgu's warming up on the right. I don't fucking... So they're not playing Dorgu in the right 10, surely. I have no idea. We simply thought about what awaited us today, and this is from Ruben Amorim, and tried to put the team at ease to win the match. We don't have many options, but we're ready to be competitive. It sounds like a beaten man. Honestly. It's not, for me, that's not acceptable, like, being like that in pre-match and body language and talking about it. Like, the quality you've got on that pitch and the money that's been spent, you should be getting more out of that team. It is a manager's job to get the best out of the players. And if your system that you're so stuck on and so adamant that it's going to work and so positive about, that should be getting the best out of the players, and it's not. So it's not an excuse. You've got to beat Leeds. You've got to beat Wolves. You've got to beat these teams. And if you're not, then you're not the man. You're not good enough. If you can't get it you've got a 5-time Champions League winner in the middle of the park, right? You spent £50 million on Nugate, 70 million on Sesko, 60 million on Cunha. You brought in Patrick Dorgu. That was one of your signings. Euro was 50 million quid. Lisandro Martinez was 50 million quid. It's not a good enough excuse. It's not. It's really not. So if we lose today, I mean, I think I'm already done with him anyway, to be honest with you. But I don't want to be that guy who's so negative about a manager and just moaning constantly. I would rather the team win and push towards something and have something to believe in, but he's just making it impossible. All this self-sabotage is making a rod for his own back. Johnny Hill saying, hello, are we the relegation battling team? I'm only making my assumption based on the fact I see we have 2 attackers on the pitch. It's a great point, Johnny. Great point. Andy saying, can't believe Calvert-Lewin feels like that R9 against Madrid. Jesus. So lucky that Ampadu is suspended. I can easily see Stack putting Ugarte into early retirement. Do you reckon Amarim's mindset is the more defenders, the less you concede? Well, if that is his mindset, he's stupid because we've done that all season and we've conceded 29 goals. So he's an idiot. It's a back three with Dorgu in the right 10. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That is fucking shocking. That is I'm sure it'll rotate and it's just, yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, let's fucking keep it tight, boys. Clean sheet, Ellen Road, 0-0. We'll take that and we'll move. My God. Predictions, Calvert-Lewin, goal, defender change, Ugarte, yellow. Hate to be pessimistic, but think Leeds win 3-1. And can we all talk about Ineos not going all out this window when City changed their season on January window? Yeah, it's again, you will hear the typical cop out where every team says, oh, the January transfer market's tough. We can't do anything. You know, money's tight. But we've heard money's tight before last summer and they went and spent 200 million quid. It's a load of bollocks. I'm pretty sure they still got another 130 million in the credit facility, which I don't know. They might be saving for the summer window. There's loads and loads of players out there who are shrewd signings, who have experience. Ruben Neves, I keep going on about. Fuck it, 15 million quid, 20 million quid. Someone who every time we played against Wolves, he would tear it up. He'd score a banger. Great little midfielder, great technician. 15, 20 million quid would give us that depth at the minute, which we absolutely need. I mean, you're telling me right now, even if that option from Galatasaray is for Ugarte to go on loan or cover his wages or whatever it is, and then obligation to buy or whatever, everyone in this chat right now who are watching at Old Trafford, who have travelled to Ellen Road, would rather see Ruben Neves in our team than Ugarte. Every day of the week. Ruben Neves is a far better player than Manuel Ugarte. Now, granted, I don't know what he's done in Saudi Arabia. I don't know how his performances have been with his team. I don't know if he's dropped off or whatever. I'm obviously going off purely what I've seen in the Premier League from him. And he is a night and day, miles better player than Ugarte. So looking at it objectively, how can you not go, listen, there's a player here available. We could probably push it down. He's got a year left on his contract or 6 months or whatever. We could probably push it down to 15 million and bring him in. Look at the effects that Mazraoui had, for example. Mazraoui was 15 million quid. Brought him in. Great squad player. Great utility player. No one's going to bat an eyelid because it's 15 million fucking quid. In today's market, that's a steal. Do you know what I mean? I don't get it. I really, really don't get it. I hope they do something, but it seems like they're only going to do something if a player goes. If Mainu goes or Xerxes goes, which Amarim, again, judging by his presser, won't be happy about. That's the only thing we're going to do business, I think. Johnny's saying, I think everyone should be worried that Amarim might get the full season. Ineos are cheap and don't want to spend in January, and they know if they hire a new manager now, they have to spend in January. As things stands, we will get in a Gallo. Do you know what though? I was saying yesterday on the show that me, Chivy Shreyas, and Sam did. I actually wouldn't mind a Cavani like signing for like a 6 months because I feel like they need that experience up top. You've got a lot of young players in that team. You know, you've got the likes of Dorgu, young, Lamont, young, Heaven, young, Yoro, young, Ugarte still relatively young. Sesko, young. So you need a bit of sprinkle of experience there, in my opinion. But yeah, anyway, listen, I'm dragging on a little bit. Let's get into 4 things we expect to see to happen in this game. Let me think. I will go with, and again, get yours in because I'll get in the comments. Both teams to score, for sure. That's going to happen. There's going to be no clean sheets in this, in my opinion. I think United will score, and I think Leeds will score. I think Dorgu to get a goal or assist is going to happen. Casemiro's definitely going to get a yellow card, but then that's kind of a given, isn't it? I suppose. I'll go one of the centre backs, Heaven or Euro, to get a yellow because I feel like Calvert-Lewin and those physical strikers are going to ruffle a bit of feathers. So I'll go less obvious and I'll go with Heaven or Euro to get a yellow card. And I think there's going to be a red card in this game. I said it in the preview. Remember me saying this. There will be a red card / penalty or something in this game, like a big VAR or big controversial decision. You can see it coming a mile off. Make sure you come and join us for the post-match reaction. I think me, Sam, and potentially one more person might be on the post-match reaction discussing the game in full. Last time we did the Wolves one, we really broke it down as best as we could, trying to leave emotion out of it. But obviously, straight after a game, you're going to be fuming in it when you drop points to Wolves. Hopefully, it's an enjoyable game. We win the game, we take the 3 points, and we can start having more positive discussions. But based on recent form, based off everything we've seen this season, it's going to be scrappy. We're going to make mistakes. It's going to be open. It's going to be goals either side. Let's just hope we turn out on top. The guy says it's so predictable. Leeds nearly win the match and we rescue a draw late on 1-1 or 2-2. Andy's saying a Leeds penalty. Dan saying Dorgu and Maz have been more effective than Ugarte and Xerxes. And Ray Nick saying, what's your score prediction, Nick? I said 2-2 in the preview, and I'm going to stick with that. It's got 2-2 written all over it, end to end. Oh, what an exciting game for the neutral, but we've dropped points again to a team who have been promoted. So, let's see. Appreciate every single one of you. Go and enjoy the game, and I'll catch you after it, yeah? Peace and love. Season